actually sent it to myself so we could find it because I figured we would be talking about this.
Did they say what day that was?
Miranda Baker. Well, let's just play the TikTok because it's just talking. Today.
And go.
And
1,847 miles. Google says one day and 4 hours.
And on August 29th,
That's a long
my
fucking
boyfriend
drive.
Brian.
It's a 28-hour
at Grand
drive.
Teton National Park
That's
at
with no traffic.
5:30 at
okay, August 29th, we know he was at Grand Teton National Park.
And
at
would you say
5:30.
September 1st he was back in Florida?
Yeah, and at 5:30 p.m.
With the van.
Yeah. So August
He was
29th.
hitchhiking at 5:30 p.m.?
Yeah.
night at Coulter Bay. I'm hoping this can help someone identify him because I saw him from TikTok, which then made me call the authorities, and my boyfriend and I have been in contact with a bunch of different people to help piece together different parts of this case. But we picked him up at Coulter Bay, like I said, at 5:30. He approached us asking us for a ride because he needed to go to Jackson, which we were going to Jackson that night. So I said, hop in. He hopped in the back of my Jeep. We then, proceeded to make small talk. But before
Coulter Bay and Jackson in Florida? So where was this?
Grand Teton National Park.
So why the hell was he hitchhiking?
We don't know. I don't.
That's odd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking he needed a ride back to the van.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe they went
Okay.
hiking. I don't know how long their hikes usually are.
Right.
And she
And
didn't
then-
return?
Yeah, maybe he did something to her up on a hike, pushed her off a cliff
They
or something.
said.
I don't know.
Well,
he came in the car, he offered to pay us like $200 to give him a
okay, that's weird. He needed. He was willing to pay $200 to get for a 10-mile ride. That smacks of some desperation to me. But
Yeah.
Yeah, like if that's what we're doing, I'll take it 100 miles.
That was kind of weird. He then told us he's been camping for multiple days without his fiance. He did say he had a fiance, and that she was working on their social media page back at their van. Then once
why would you tell strangers that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like
He's trying to make an alibi.
Too much
Yeah.
information, yeah.
in conversation I brought up, we're going to Jackson. He freaked out. He's like, nope, I need to get out right
now.
now.
Remember, he asked for a
I was
ride
just
to
about to
Jackson.
say, didn't he say that's where he wanted
Yes,
to go?
he asked them to take him to Jackson, and then she was like, said something about, well, when we get to Jackson, and he freaked out and immediately made them pull over, and he jumped out.
That's so weird.
So she said he was acting erratic.
That's
Now, pull over. So we pulled over at the Jackson Dam, which I don't know if you know Teton Park, but it's not very far from Coulter Bay. And if this does reach people, I can post pictures of exactly where we were. We picked him up and the whole route or whatever, and screenshots of the timestamps. We dropped him off at 6:09 p.m. on August 29th.
And she says she knows the exact date and time because the whole time that he was in her car, she was texting her mom. So she has the timestamps.
In case he was crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on.
He kind of
They picked him up at 5:30. It was supposed to be a 10-mile trip.
Yeah.
But they dropped him off at 6:09.
So what were they doing for 40 minutes?
Yeah, that
he may have
doesn't
just
make
been.
sense.
I mean, was he talking? Because
Traffic. I mean,
is it one of those things where
Maybe it was a really hilly.
where they were going. I mean,
and
I know, I'd have to look at
some of those
pictures of
national
this
parks, the traffic is backed up for miles.
and the speed limit's 15 miles
yeah,
an
because
hour.
of the wildlife
right,
and stuff.
Right. So that
hurry
that
out
part's
of the
not
car.
unreasonable.
And then he's like, okay, I'm just gonna go find someone else to hitchhike. And we're like, okay. It was a weird situation. So when we picked him up, he was wearing a backpack, he had a long sleeve pants, hiking boots, and he had scruff. But he didn't look dirty. For someone who was camping for multiple days, he didn't look dirty, he didn't smell dirty. So that part was kind of weird. And I'm just really hoping that they find her, and this helps someone remember seeing him or something like that. Hi,
Where did she say they were?
Coulter Bay in Grand Teton National Park.
right here. Here is Coulter Bay, and then the dot is Jackson Lake Dam.
Yeah,
that
she
they're
said
talking
that's
about.
where he jumped out. Was Jackson?
Not
Lake.
far. I mean,
No.
What state is that in Utah?
Wyoming.
Okay. All right.
So we already know 6 o'clock at night on the 29th.
He was in Wyoming.
He's not even at his van yet. And he made it. I wonder what time he got back home in Florida.
I don't think.
So, I mean, he would have been having to drive.
Well, Ross said that Google Maps said it was, I had said 2,000.
1,870.
Yeah, I had said 2,000 miles. It was 1,850 miles. 28 hours straight.
All right, y'all go ahead. I'm scanning these articles.
Do you
to
know
see if
where
it
in
says
Florida?
when he showed up.
No.
Hold on.
That's why I just gave a general guesstimate.
Sarasota area of the Gulf Coast is where they're looking
well,
for
that's
him.
like Tampa Bay. Yeah.
So that's actually a little bit
That's
farther
actually
than I
a
was
little
thinking.
further, yeah.
Because I was guesstimating like Pensacola area.
Okay, well, I'm doing Jackson Lake Dam to Sarasota, Florida.
Uh-huh.
2,349
Okay.
miles, 1 day and 9 hours.
That's a long
Yeah,
fucking
okay.
drive.
His family
you
lives
can
in
do it, but you wouldn't be able to
lives in
stop.
Northport, Florida, which is 35 miles south of Sarasota.
So add an hour to that.
Yeah.
So
So 1 day
So 36
and 9
hours.
hours, 10 hours, yeah.
So he was really rushing to
Yeah,
get
it
home.
said all I've seen so far is just that he arrived back in the van on September 1.
I mean, it's possible, but man, everything's got to go
He
your way
was
to
putting-
make it.
yeah, he
I mean,
was-
you got to be able to go the speed limit the whole way, no traffic. You have
Not
to.
stop for gas.
You,
and
you
that's
have
it.
to be the most efficient refueling motherfucker
He's
on the
doing that
planet.
Well,
thing
if you're
that
trying to
lady-
get an alibi down,
Uh-huh.
and
You
you
know,
need to make
the one
sure.
with the diaper
Yeah,
on?
he's got the adult diaper on doing the thing for the NASA.
You couldn't have been there at that time because you were on the road to Florida.
So he was trying to, and I believe that's why he was info dumping with this couple that picked him up. He was like, because like, that's just weird.
When you start sharing too much information,
Yeah.
there's a problem.
Because like, why would
Well,
you?
some
she's back at the thing up there. Like, why would you even have to say that?
But some people just naturally give too much information, and
Yeah.
you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, but they're talking about information that doesn't pertain to what
yeah,
they're
it's
talking
not like
about.
it came up
time.
in conversation. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
All
like
right.
they're just talking about camping, and all of a sudden he's talking about, oh yeah, my girlfriend's at the van. We haven't been together for days.
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
updating our social media. That's
You
not
know,
what I'm
if you're
doing
talking
right
about
now.
camping, you're probably gonna, oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
up and so where it was so beautiful. But
Yeah.
he was making an alibi.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was trying to establish timelines and shit. And
See, you would think with that long ass drive, he'd have had plenty of time
to think it all through.
to think it through. Yeah, be like, all right, I got 18 more hours to come up with something. All right, I have 12 more hours to come up with something. I mean, there's literally a countdown.
Well, see, and like investigators became frustrated by his refusal to meet. If only you had a mechanism in place for forcing him.
You have to have a warrant for that, and
But
so-
how hard would it be to get a judge to sign off on a warrant for that?
But he
that
had already
you-
lawyered up. If he's
you-
lawyered up, he
but
doesn't
you
have to talk.
Yeah, and not only that, for the judge to give an arrest warrant, you need to provide them with, number one, evidence of a crime, which there isn't any, and number two, evidence that the person, your suspect, is the one that you reasonably believe committed the crime. Again, no evidence of a crime, there's no suspect.
Okay, I was going to say something about the lawyer before, which I forgot.
Because
When he went back home to Florida, he had talked about the altercation they got in, and the dad. That's when they got him a lawyer in case anything came up about the altercation.
See, that's so sketchy.
Yeah.
But back to the warrant. According to the writ of habeas corpus, which means produce the body, if there's no body, there's no crime. Is the general idea?
Yeah, it's changed a little bit lately.
Yeah,
with,
you can have a certain amount of what's the word? Circumstantial evidence, but it's got to be fucking paramount.
I can't help but think, though, okay, we have a young woman who's missing, so they don't know if she's dead or alive, but it puts an impetus. She needs to be found. She's endangered at the very least. So Yehu shows up in her van alone.
Yep.
He won't say where she... To me, getting a warrant from a judge would be easy based on that. I mean, if a judge saw that and that wasn't problematic enough to go, you pick his ass up.
What do you get? All right. Before I continue down this, my personal opinion, I think she's dead and I think he killed her. Okay? So everything that I say, just keep that.
You're playing devil's advocate.
as a judge, number one, what are you gonna arrest him for? You can't
Because you don't have a body.
Yeah, you don't have a body. You don't have a
He
crime.
came back. But they were together, and he came back without
At the
Yeah.
very least,
Yeah.
he stole her
property.
van.
And that is suspicious as hell.
Can't they keep him for
No.
like 24 hours or something?
Oh, they could question him, try to sweat it out of him.
No, because the second
Oh,
that
yeah,
he
because he was already lawyered
the,
up.
the
Oh, that's
second
true.
he gets
But-
in there,
Yeah,
he's
you're
going to
right,
say,
you're right, you're right.
call
I need
my
a lawyer.
fucking lawyer.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying a word. And the lawyer's going to come, and the lawyer's going to say, what's he being charged with? Oh, well, have a nice day. And they're going to walk out of that fucking...
Yeah, no, you're right. I would,
And,
But
and
couldn't
just like Ross said...
couldn't at least at that point they put some kind of something on him that you don't need to be leaving the city.
Yeah.
Just something else
They
that
can-
later on down the road they could put on
they
him.
can tell him not to leave the city.
I know. I'm just
but-
saying that something else
But they can't...
they can
can't
at least
put-
start a paper trail.
Yeah, but they can't put like a tracker on him
know.
or anything like that because, again, it's the whole warrant thing. And just like Ross said... The van wasn't reported stolen, and yeah, when they left, he had her permission to drive her van.
Mm-hmm.
As far as anybody else knows, that,
that
hadn't
permission
changed.
hasn't been revoked.
Yeah.
What I've also found really weird. Well, first, I don't know who these people are and why they think this, but it says some believe everything from around July 28th forward was him on social media.
Oh, this
And the
wouldn't
text.
surprise me.
But I think that said she had called the parents too several times a week.
Yeah, and when... So, tell me again when the altercation happened?
I thought that was
12th.
August
On the
12th.
12th.
Yeah, so, I mean, we know that she was alive and well then.
Yeah, so why would she be like, here,
You do my...
you do this? I
Yeah,
mean,
that doesn't make sense.
I don't know if they're trying to say something like he had control of all her stuff and like let her.
See, I don't know that I would agree with that, and here's why. When the cops intervene in that altercation, that was her opportunity. If
Okay, but women all the time, especially women who get beat,
no,
and
I
have
get
the
it.
cops called all the time. Oh no, he loves me. I don't want him to go to jail.
and I understand that, but that was her opportunity
Okay, but that doesn't mean anything.
to say, I'm in danger.
Here's pictures she took of him, because I found his Instagram, and she took pictures of him and posted of him hiking in Moab, Utah, on the day that the altercation happened. So these pictures are them hiking. That's the day that we have the body cam footage. That's the last day we know she's alive.
Yes.
And that's the last post on his social media is that day. And then,
Has hers been taken down?
no, but here's what's interesting.
When I looked at them, I think last night or the day before, they were both still up.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is weird to me. You would think people would try to shut that stuff down, or like the family members or something.
Okay.
Oh, real quick, that's one thing I was going to say about family members. Once her parents couldn't get in contact with her, now she was living with him
Uh-huh.
at his
In
parents'
Florida.
house. His parents knew her. She lived with them.
They'd met.
Yeah.
When her parents couldn't get a hold of her, they started calling his parents.
Like you would.
They wouldn't answer their calls.
See, right then, I would have
That's
gotten in my
weird.
car and my ass would have been in Florida.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense because like it's not. These people all had relationships, you know, so she'd been living with this family for like 2 years. So, that's problematic as fuck.
Yep. Almost like they knew that something was
Well, see,
amiss.
and see if that's true about him going home, what he told his
To
parents.
help
That
move.
makes them accomplices, by the way.
Major.
Yeah, but they don't know that he killed her.
But okay, but
That
they
you
know
know
that
of.
he did something, and that makes them accomplices, or at minimum, aiding and abetting.
Here's another thing that I think is interesting.
If they helped him in any way.
I know why they said that wasn't Gabby that was saying all this. Like Gabby's post, girl was a talker. I mean, like paragraphs of text with her pictures.
And now it's like today's post number 1.
Like the one that happened the day they had the altercation. Look at all the text she
Oh,
posted.
good God.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I mean, for Instagram, that's a goddamn novel. Okay, and then after that, the next post is... No, that's that day. The next